Hi, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Vivian.
And welcome to
Houses and Homestead.
Today's video. We are going to talk about chicks. We're going to be working on our brooder that we're going to make. We're going to talk about how we feed them, how we water them, heat, and a bunch of the other important things. Sound good, Simeon?
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you can hear them. It sounds like we've got a number of chicks in there. Last night, I came in to check them, and one was chirping and chirping and chirping, but hadn't come out of the egg yet. So, it sounds like a bunch are starting to hatch. We'll get a video. What I'm going to do is sort of prep a brooding area where I can put these chicks just to hang out and start growing a little bit before we sell some of them, grow some of them, that sort of thing. Sound good, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move some stuff out. Okay, we gotta sweep out that area. Yeah.
There's mice in here.
Looks like we got a little mouse poop, hey?
There's mice in the barn.
That doesn't totally surprise me, but we'll have to make sure the cats keep doing their job.
Yeah. 4 mice traps.
4 mouse traps, yeah, okay. Okay, so Nathaniel, what do you think? I'm thinking right here is where we're gonna build the area for the chicks. If we do like something like that, a wall and a wall, and then we fill this area for them. So when it comes to making your brooder, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It can be a Tupperware container, anything really with 4 walls. The main thing to consider in your brooder is that it needs to be warm. That means no breeze, no wind, and a spot that the heat can sort of sink into. According to the internet, you want to keep your brand new chicks at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, right underneath your heat lamp. When we first started, we checked everything. We made sure that we had the right thermometer under there. We made sure that we had the perfect temperature. At this point, we actually let the chicks do most of the sorting. So we put our heat light down and we watch the chicks. If all the chicks are huddled right underneath the heat light, we know that it's cold and we want to drop that heat light a bit more in order for them to warm up a bit. If all the chicks are right to the outside of the brooder, that means it's too hot. We can raise the heat lamp a little bit, make it a little more comfortable for them. So we allow the chicks to really show us how warm they are, how cold they are. We keep our feed and our water outside of underneath the heat lamp. We do want the birds to be able to walk around a little bit and get out of the heat. If you're keeping your chicks in the same brooder for their entire duration, you're going to want to cool down the chicks about 5 degrees Fahrenheit per week. So to do this, you can just slowly raise the heat light a little bit at a time. Again, watch your birds to see how they react. If you raise it up a little bit and then they do not leave the comfort of the light, that means you've gone too much. Drop it a little bit. So the chicks started to hatch last night. I could hear them chirping, but none of them had come out yet. So I am curious to see how many chicks we have. Look at that. 5 chicks? Okay. Two buff Orpingtons.
Can I hold him?
You can just look.
Can you put the other one closer by me?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move you guys.
That's not really kind.
No, it's not really kind, but I want
I
them to.
think it's gonna hurt the chick because I think that shade is soft for them. I think they like you because you mute them and they want to get warm.
Mm-hmm. So for our chicks for water, we just used the standard waterers. We'll use these for our larger birds. There's no need for having a small one. especially when you're raising the amount of chicks we do. We typically have batches of 25 to 30 chicks. And what I do is I'm filling it with water. This is pond water, but pond water, house water, doesn't matter. And then I take some apple cider vinegar. And we use that apple cider vinegar just to supplement a little bit, tops up the water. It's supposed to help prevent coccidiosis. It's also supposed to reduce the smell of their poop, increases calcium absorption, and it's full of vitamins and minerals. And all we do is just give a little swig of it, and we add that to the water. For our chick feed, we use a medicated chick starter. We feed them in this feeder here. Keeps them from really climbing in too much, from being able to poop in here. But we just sort of top it up. The chicks will clean up anything that drops or overflows. Again, we use a medicated chick starter. We use a medicated chick starter for the first 2 to 4 weeks. We'll go longer than that, obviously, if we got a bag to use up. But it's recommended for the first 2 to 4 weeks to give a medicated chick starter. This will sort of help build their immunity to coccidiosis. Coccidiosis is something that they get from if their food gets contaminated with waste, with poop, and can make them really sick. As adults, they typically already have an immunity towards that, so they're good at that point. But for the first couple weeks, we don't want to lose any chicks. We're going to hedge our bets, and we're going to treat with medicated chick feed. So again, for our chicks are staying outside of the heat light area. That means they're not too cold, which is good. They're also not all the way over by their feed, which would be the coolest area, so they're not too hot as well, which is also important. Once the chicks are a couple weeks old, we'll move them from this small brooder into a larger one. It's a cage then we have that's 3 feet by 8 feet, and it's not as warm. It's got some more air to it, but by 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks old, they're going to be more than capable to handle those temperatures. Something to consider: if your brooder is too small, your birds could develop feet problems. They will get feet that are curled in, and they'll have a hard time. You'll get birds with splayed leg too, but typically that's not from lack of space. That's from development in the egg.
Thanks for watching Hostas and Homestead.
We hope you learned something.
We hope you learned something.
What is there, Calvin?